hope.
Hey, all.
Good morning. Do you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, good.
Also, you're louder than usual, which
Because
is
I
good.
just realized I was trying to talk for 5 minutes with my mic unplugged.
Well done. There we go. There's Daniel.
And it appears that finally players are joining this lobby.
Well, yeah, I only invited them now. Let me see. Jesus Christ, I want to move players around so badly right now.
This car
Also, high internet.
this car needs those lobby admin powers. All right, thank you everyone for the hosts. That's from Lasagna, that Lasagna guy, and Grimdark Psychosis. If any of you were on Twitch earlier today, you probably, earlier today and last night, you probably saw Lasagna running in the Alliance charity war. He was essentially the sole representative for the Mercantile Guild and still managed to, at one point, own, I believe, a quarter of the map after it was all taken over.
Are there even any people streaming for Chaladonia?
I believe there were a couple signed up. I'm not exactly sure who or how well they did, but looking at the map, you can see they barely had a presence. Actually, I haven't looked at the map in like the last half hour. But to little of a surprise, it's mostly controlled by Fjords right now. But that is a completely different war. Right now we have a war between the Fancy Pretzels and Mustache Riders starting in just under 2 minutes. I apologize for my constant silence. I keep noticing things that I've forgotten to set up. Because, you know, I'm prepared. Obviously.
I'm totally prepared, like a responsible referee would be.
Always. No, but you're probably more prepared than I am. Okay, I'm having... I notice a lot's going on in... Huh, okay. I'm doing bad stuff. But I notice a lot of stuff going on in chat right now, and it's kind of confusing me because I can't actually see anything. But of course it's not important to keep attention to that chat. It's more important for me at this point to pay attention to Twitch chat. Hello there, Water, it's me. How are you doing today? And 30 seconds until loadout lock now. Alright, loadouts are locked. That means 30 seconds until the match will begin. That also means that we're going to see a goldfish and a squid fight against a mobula and a goldfish. So we now have about a minute to load in on Northern Fjords. It's a somewhat large map with very heavy cloud cover, especially toward the middle of the map, and we are in. So on the red team, we have the stuff's going wrong already. On the red team, we have the Friendfish. This is a goldfish piloted by Dementio. It has a Carronade on the front, a Banshee on the left, and a Carronade on the right. We also have the Gracie Dream. This is a squid piloted by Mighty Keb. It has a Gatling on the front, a Banshee on the right, and a Gatling on the back. Would you like to take blue team?
No, you do it.
Alright, on the blue team we have the Uwa Mobulench. This is a Mobula piloted by Nietzsche's Mustache. It has a Hades on the front, an Artemis and a Banshee on the bottom, a Harpoon and a Gatling on the top. And their ally is the Sorrow. This is a goldfish piloted by Finks. It has a heavy Carronade on the front, as well as a Banshee on the right and a Carronade on the left. And we've already gotten into this engagement. The Greasy Dream has flown in behind the blue lines. The Sorrow is now turning to face them, while Mobulench continues facing the Friendfish. Gatling fire going into Mobulench. Going to bring them about to half of their armor. Sorrow now getting that heavy Carronade snipe onto the Greasy Dream, meaning that they're going to fall, but they get their balloon up as they continue loading their Gatling into the Uba Mobulench. And there's the armor break. Sorrow tries to go for the bump on Greasy Dream, but misses. Banshee going into Mobulench brings them to about half their perma health. The heavy Carronade has gone in there and popped their balloon. Another armor break now. Banshee shots not seeming to go in. Going a bit late, but the armor gets up in time. Gatling going to go in again. Sorrow's still in the back of the Greasy Dream. Armor break on the Uba Mobulench again, and there's what appears to be a Gat kill for the Greasy Dream. Sorrow now going to be in this 2v1 as the Greasy Dream's balloon is popped, as is the Sorrow's. Friendfish managing to keep that height advantage and angle advantage on the Sorrow, who have now fallen out of arcs for all other ships. Gatling fire going to go in there to bring down their armor. Or not, but but it is on fire. Balloon of that Sorrow is at such low health they don't have a chance to rise, but there's a balloon break and an armor break. Explosive damage not going to come in time as they get the armor back up. Gatling going back in. Uba Mobulench still hasn't spawned, waiting for their ally to die. Balloon is broken once again as they bump the environment, which will break their armor. Go for it. They take another bump on the environment. Uba Mobulench is now spawned back in. Gatling going into the balloon of the Sorrow. Carronade goes right into the balloon of the Sorrow, which will pop it. Sorrow once again descending. Greasy Dream is climbing up, hoping to find the Uba Mobulench wherever they have spawned. So we have a Carronade duel going on. The Sorrow just can't rise enough to actually get their Carronade arcs on anything. Greasy Dream descending now back to attack the Sorrow. There's the armor break. Sorrow tries to avoid the Carronade of the Friendfish, but instead the two Banshees go into their balloon, setting it on heavy fire. There's an armor break on the Sorrow, balloon break as well, and an engine broken, and there's the kill for the Greasy Dream. Uba Mobulench, of course, has spawned back in, so the Greasy Dream is immediately accelerating as fast as they can and flying up above this mountain, looking for the Uba Mobulench. If they can get to the Uba Mobulench before the Sorrow can spawn again, it's going to be a big advantage for them. The goldfish there, the friendfish, though, being a lot slower than the squid. But the Ubomobolench has spotted the Greasy Dream, and now the Ubomobolench has been spawned as well. But the Sorrow spawns in right on top of the Greasy Dream. Greasy Dream is going to get behind the Mobula. Gatling Fire going into that hull armor. Not going to manage to get the armor break this time, but Ubomobolench returns with their own Gatling Fire. Friendfish has now entered this battle. Oh, and there's a kill for the Sorrow. That was nearly an insta-kill, as is what the Friendfish has just done to the Mobula. Right now, the Sorrow has a slight positioning advantage. They shoot their carronade, but do not manage to get a balloon break. Instead, the Friendfish is the first to get a balloon break, meaning the Sorrow is going to be descending rapidly now. But the Friendfish is running from this engagement, because they are, of course, in blue spawn, which will give the blue team an advantage when fighting, because it takes the Mobula a lot less time to get in than the Greasy Dream.
Actually, it doesn't look like it, because Greasy Dream is about to re-engage. Actually, they are re-engaged now.
There's the Greasy Dream coming in without Gatling, nearly getting that armor break. The balloon sending them behind that mountain, though. Mobula has returned to this engagement. They took a long time between spawn and engaging again. Gatling going into the Mobula this time. There's going to be the armor break. Banshee's going in, doing a decent bit of damage. Going about half wide. More Gatling going in. There's another armor break. More Banshees going in, going to bring them to about just under a quarter of their health. Friendfish now has had their balloon broken. That means they're going to be out of arc for most of their guns at this point. Gatling going into Mobula, Banshee in, and there's the kill. Sorrow now in a 2v1, and Fancy Pretzels do have the 4-1 lead right now. Sorrow needs to survive if they want to have a chance at winning. But the Gatling's going to go in, break the armor. The carronade has broken the balloon at the Greasy Dream, meaning their arcs are going to be much more difficult to get now. With as they say that, they send their Gatling back into the Sorrow. This time not getting an armor break. Instead, the Greasy Dream's balloon broken again. And have a fire on their balloon, but they get a mallet on it. Sorry, armor, they get a mallet on it in time. Gatling going into Sorrow, Banshee, and there's the kill. Fancy Pretzels defeat Mustache Riders by a score of 5-1.
Huh. That's weird. For some reason, I can't report the actual scores and only mark a winner team for SCS.
That's strange.
In any case, let me set up the next lobby, which is an ambush.
Alright, so our next map is going to be between Team Mustache Riders and whoever loses the current match going on twitch.tv/therebel_, which is East Chaldon Trading Company versus Dimitri's Angels. So looking on that map right now, it appears Dimitri's Angels have a 4-0 lead. Meaning we will most likely be seeing
And the match is over, and we can see the report score on the channel.
Yay. So, as I was saying before I realized I was muted, teams have started trickling into this match. And on the red team, we're going to have the East Chaldon Trading Company, who were just defeated 5-0 by Dimitri's Angels. And on the blue team, we're going to have the Mustache Riders, who were just defeated by a score of 5-1 by the Fancy Pretzels. Yes. On that Canyon Ambush. So the timer has been started. At this point, there are still 3 minutes remaining until loadout's lock. That means 3.5 minutes until the match actually begins. Alright, it appears players are deciding to ready up as there's the call that loadouts are locked, meaning we're going to see a Mobula and a Goldfish from the East Chaldon Trading Company fight against a Junker and a Galleon from the Mustache Riders. And of course, Canyon Ambush. Canyon Ambush is, of course, a very narrow map that is filled with very large amounts of canyons in the middle between two wide open spawns. It is usually seen sort of a combo, sometimes long range, sometimes close range, but on the red team we have the GFA Flying Flounder. This is a Mobula piloted by Captain Scrowbeard. It has a Hades on the top, 2 armors on the bottom, and a Flare and a Gatling on the top. Their ally is the the Poodle Moth, piloted by Merwin. This is a Goldfish with a Hwacha on the front, a Gatling on the right, and a Carronade on the left. And on the blue team, that's the Mustache Riders. We have the Abyss. This is a Junker piloted by Nietzsche's Mustache. It has an Artemis on the front with a Mine and a Banshee on the left, and an Artemis and a Gatling on the right. And their ally is the Execution. This is a Galleon piloted by Finks. It has a Lumberjack, Hwacha, and Hades on the left, a Flare Gun on the back, and a Hwacha and a Carronade on the right. There are the first spots coming in between the Execution and the Flying Flounder. Moth now spotted as well, as is the Abyss. Execution and Flounder are trading shots, as are the Abyss and the Fish. But there's the first armor break going out to the Poodle Moth. Some explosive damage going to go in. Not too much, though. They're going to remain with just over half their health. Execution is nearly armor broken, and there's the break. Flying Flounder going to have a chance to put their say in with explosive damage. Going to bring them to about 2/3 of their health remaining. Flounder now... never mind, my apologies. But the Gatling going to go back into the Poodle Moth as the Execution and Flounder still trade blows, but there's another armor break on Execution and on the Poodle Moth. Execution gets mostly behind cover before they can take too much perma damage. But now the Gatling from the Abyss is being blocked by the Flying Flounder instead of the Moth. Actually, they just keep targeting the Flounder at this point, as the Moth keeps firing onto the Abyss. Execution is once again armor broken and off in nowhere, meaning the Flounder is going to have a chance for a couple seconds to do a 2v1 on the Abyss. But the Moth is armor broken, not going to take too much explosive damage though. Gatling now going in from the Flounder onto the Abyss. Artemis seems to be keeping that Hwacha disabled as another armor is broken on the Poodle Moth. The Execution finally having their say in this battle again, shooting in their long-range guns, but the Abyss loses their armor and hit a wall, and there's the first kill for the East Chaldon Trading Company. Execution's current position, though, doesn't let them come in, or doesn't let them, the red team, have arcs on them, meaning that they're going to be able to go out of here without taking much more damage before their ally spawns back in. It appears the red team do have a general idea of where the Execution is, but nothing is for certain because of all this cloud and rock cover. The Execution has slowed down their retreat, holding in this entrance to the blue team's spawn, as there's the first spots between the Moth and the Execution, and the Abyss is making their way back into this engagement. Gatling now going to go onto that Poodle Moth. Execution taking once again heavy fire from the Flounder as the Abyss and Moth are dueling this out as well. The Gatling from the Abyss is just out of range onto the Moth. Execution has fallen steadily and are taking heavy Hades fire. Their armor is in a very bad state right now, but a Hwacha goes onto the Abyss That actually goes mostly wide, meaning nothing's going to actually be disabled. Gatling now going on the Flounder. An armor break on the Execution brings them to about 10% of their health. Flounder is now armor and balloon broken. But no, only a couple Gatling shots going to hit them while their armor is down. Meaning that they take very little damage. The Execution has ducked behind cover to have a chance at repairing a bit. Now they're poking back out, lumber shots back onto the Flounder. There's the balloon break. And an armor break too from that Gatling on the Abyss. Not too much damage going in, bringing them to just over 2/3 of their health. But now the Poodle Moth is launching their Watch at the Execution. There's an armor break. Watch is going to go out. And there's the kill on the Execution. 2-0 advantage East Child on Trading Company. As the Abyss manages to hit the Poodle Moth with what appeared to be a Banshee. Meaning that it's now going to be 2-1 for the East Child on Trading Company. The Abyss is aggressively advancing, hoping they can take this 1v1 with the Flounder. Which they do. Hades going to be reining in. Too much more as the Flounder turns completely out of arcs to try to get out of this situation. Try to back up toward their ally. Gatling now going into Abyss. Sorry, Gatling from Abyss going into Flounder. Armor is very low and they get a mallet on in time. Execution is running back in. Of course, the Gatling doesn't have any front guns, meaning that they're going to need to turn before they can have a say in this engagement. But the Poodle Moth is almost back at the location of the Flounder. Execution turns their broadsides. Do not, however, have arc on either of the red ships. Just now they do as the Hades starts firing into the Flounder. Flounder's going to be nearly balloon broken. There's an armor break and there's the balloon break as well. Once again, blue team not managing to put too much explosive damage into that. Brings them to about 1/3 of their maximum health. There's another armor and balloon break. This time, more shots are raining in, but they get the armor up in time. Another armor break, and this is the end as the Abyss manages to get the kill on the Flying Flounder. Poodle Moth is in an interesting position there. It appears that their ally knew they were going to die, so they have already started running. Have their back turned to the Abyss, as they're not going to get arcs because they, of course, have no idea where the Poodle Moth is because of this cloud cover. Of course, it's not actually no idea because there's only a certain amount of space the Poodle Moth could be at right now. But the Moth is ducking low behind this rock, hoping that the blue team misses them. But there's the spot. The blue team does not miss them. Flounder has spawned back in. Mines being launched now at the Moth. Moth is in a strange position. They're just going to run from here. So the Execution and the Flounder are now in a 1v1. As are the Abyss and Poodle Moth. Here's a mine has hit the Poodle Moth. It's going to do heavy damage and set a lot of fires all over the ship. There's an armor break. Not too much damage going to follow up that break. Flounder now going to target the Abyss to try to get them off the tail of their ally. But instead the Poodle Moth has just turned their back to both blue ships and are running for some kind of cover. Flounder now going to be balloon and armor broken. Watch going in about half wide. But they're now at about... Ooh, that's a heavy damage. And they're now at about 15-20% of their max health. Gatling from Abyss, and there's the armor break, and there's the kill. 3-2 advantage. Mustache Riders now. Poodle Moth going to need to once again survive. Gatling from the Abyss, spraying wide, Getting a couple hits in. Just that they know where they are. But now the Hades is going to rain into the side of the Poodle Moth. Hwacha launched toward Abyss. They hoped they could hit something, but it goes 100% wide. Poodle Moth's in a bad position. Balloon broken. Now armor broken as well. They bounce, doing heavy damage. Another bounce. They must be at about 5% of their maximum health at this point. They're not dead yet, though. But they are still in Arcs of the Abyss. Flounders should be spawning in any second now. Actually, never mind. I forgot the scores. The Moth is once again balloon broken. Probably going to be trying to just do damage and hope that they die. Actually, I say that, and there's the Flying Flounder spawning in. It's probably a forced spawn at this point. With the Hades going into the side of the Poodle Moth. There's the balloon break. Once again, their perma is still so low. Flounder are going to be trying to cover for their ally. Able to watch on the execution, but nothing else. Now that Hades is going to find the Abyss as the Poodle Moth is rising up. They are mostly repaired, but the Flounder's armor and balloon broken. Get that armor repaired, but once again it's under heavy fire as the Gatling goes back on that armor. Minutes remaining comes the call from the referee. Gatling onto the Poodle Moth. There's the armor break, and there's the kill. 4-2 advantage for Mustache Riders. Flying Flounder is in a horrible position, 2v1, and they've been taking heavy damage this entire time. But the Gatling is going to go into that armor, trying to run for cover, seeing if they can get some sort of cover. Banshee goes in. Not going to manage to kill him, though. 25% of their health. More Gatling going in. They're turning to face the Abyss now. Another armor break. Not too much Banshee going in. Poodle Moth has spawned back in. Let's see if they can do something to hopefully save their ally. But there's a Gatling and a watch on the Flounder. And there's the kill. Mustache Riders are going to take this by a score of 5-2, eliminating the East Chaldon Trading Company. They started that off so well with a 2-0 advantage. The Mustache Riders just overwhelmed them. Right, and meanwhile on the other stream, that's at twitch.tv/Durable_. The Demetrius Angels have defeated the Fancy Pretzels by a score of 5-1. That means our next match is going to be between Fancy Pretzels and Mustache Riders. A rematch of the first match we saw on our stream today. Alright, I apologize for that long period of saying nothing, but I am going to... But I was just talking with the other streamer who doesn't have a match going on right now, and it would probably make more sense for them to stream this match because otherwise they'll have a 20-minute break. So that's going to be it for my stream today. If you would like to view the rest of the stream, you can find that at www.twitch.tv/therebel_. That's going to start with Fancy Pretzels versus Mustache Riders, and going to end with whoever wins today's tournament. So, of course, thank you to Solidus Bucket for organizing the tournament this week. Thank you to Dribble and Celine Dijon for streaming and reffing the top bracket. And thank you to Huskar for reffing and sometimes co-casting on this stream.
Yeah, I'm sorry for the lack of actual co-casting. I was tabbing a lot because things.
Yeah, makes sense. I've reffed myself, so I know what that's like. You did a great job.
But I was investigating stream viewer lists and that type of stuff.
So
thanks for streaming.
Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this stream, and at this point, go over and watch The Rebel, because nothing's going to go on here. Good night.